Okay, so I thought I would do a really quick update here on where the project is at because I recently have done quite a bit, um, including adding some music, which you will hear. So one of the main things I did was work on the blocks, and we don't have removing yet, but we have adding blocks. And let me see if I can go through some of the code here that I've added in. I don't think there's too. Okay, so here is how we're able to add the blocks. So we created another array of storage, which is I was going to make it a vector, but I made it a hard-coded 1000. So unfortunately, at this time, which is not really that bad, is 1000 blocks is the limit. So you can add 1000 blocks, and then it won't let you add any more. So we have two. So we have the original block. Excuse me, initialization code, the init VAO, VBO, render, and update data. That's for the terrain. Okay, so then I added these two now. So I have an init user block, VAO, VBO, and an update user data. Okay, I'll show you both of those functions, and then the add block. Okay, they're all right here. So the init user VAO, VBO, it's exactly the same as the other VAO, VBO initialization. Okay, so nothing really changes there except for the name of the VAOs, VBOs, and the blocks that get copied in. The other thing is the user data is the same thing. It's also, except for the VBO is bound, and then we do that. We update the data. Okay, so that takes care of showing you those two functions. Let's look at add block real quick, which I think is also near the top here, but where did I put it? It's alphabetical. Okay, so each time the user clicks the left mouse button, which happens in the main space gems, I'll show you that in a second, it increases the number of user blocks. If the number of user blocks is less than 1000, then it will add the current block of the cursor, whatever the cursor is set at, which we have a GUI in the IM with the IM GUI. I'll show you how easy that was to add in too. That gets copied to the temp user blocks wherever the num user blocks has been incremented to, and then the update user data is called, which updates the blocks in the VBO. Okay, so let's show you the GUI because that is really exciting. Let's see, did I add anything else here? Here's the music. I'll be doing a lot more about the music and the audio, so you'll see some more about that. The only other thing we do is we also initialize the user block here when we after the instantiation of the class, and then we get the initialization going. We did update the shaders. I'll show you that in just a second. What else do we want to show you here? Okay, so if show space, we didn't do anything there. Show planet. Okay, so then we do this every frame. So the block data is now updated every frame with the camera position and the camera front for the cursor. Okay, and then we start the IM GUI here, and what we did was I shortened it up a little bit. I'll show you in a second. And the palette change is still there. I really like that. New color. Okay, so here's the terrain generation variables, and I put them on sliders so that you can kind of modify the terrain and see what they do, see what it does. It's really cool. And then here's the cursor color. I added the cursor color edit, which is really simple. Like, this is all I had to do. So the temp cursor right here. Okay. And then the cursor shader is the temp type of the shader. See, and then the cursor, the block number 106925 is the cursor. So we just set the color right there. We set the shader type there. And this particular trick allows me to differentiate in the shader between the cursor and all the other blocks without actually adding another type of data. Okay, and the template grid division right there. Okay, and then so that's it as far as the IM GUI. And this is really easy to add in. It was amazing. Okay, and then the other thing with the cursor is in the blocks. I don't think there's anything else except for the render function. I want to show you that because we created the new VAO VBO I put the this is the user blocks that the user adds into the game. So it's just another call to set the VAO for the user. We're still going to use the same shader up here, and then we draw instanced like that. I was trying to do it with the vector, but that is not compatible with the OpenGL system. So what I was trying to do there was that didn't work. So here's the fragment shader, and what happens is you can change the type that's sent in of the shader 1, 2, or 3. So we get the Voronoi, which is animated. We get this one, which is just the platform, or those depending upon the other thing that I had going, but I don't think I have that going with this particular setup. And then the fragment shader for the sign flower, which I'll show you. And I don't think I had to change anything in here, except for we added the type and the grid when we got the cursor going. And then in order to get the this is how you differentiate with the cursor. The type is like 100 plus whatever the type is supposed to be, because the type right here is only 1, 2, or 3. So if I had 100, that differentiates it, and I can just subtract it out here. And then I set with the cursor, that's because I know it's the cursor, because the type is greater than 100, so I subtract 100 to get the real type that I want the cursor to be, and then I set this variable is cursor. For all the other blocks it's 1, which means it's solid. Otherwise I set it down to 0.04 so that you can see through the cursor. And let's see what that looks like now. And there's the music starting too, which is really cool. And then also for the planet there, which is the star, I know. I have actually 2 spheres being drawn there. The second sphere is slightly larger than the other one with a transparency. So it's kind of simulating clouds, although they're kind of not really working yet, but I'll get it. I'll get it. So here's the cursor, and I also added a scroll so you can scroll it away further and scroll it back in, and I'll show you that in a second too, because that's really cool. So all you do is just left click like this, and you can change the type. You just go into the GUI. You can change the cursor color right here, so if I want red, and then we go back with the 2 key, and it messes up the camera, but I'll fix that eventually too. So then we can just place those like that. Go back in, cursor shader, say we want to change it up to 2, change it up to that one, which looks really cool. You can change the grid, which is also, you can see how the grid affects the shader, that's really cool. That's the first time I've seen that too, so that's really cool. So we go back in, and let's say we want to place those. And that's really fun. This is fun. So I can see doing a lot of code like this. In fact, let's get a screenshot here. Let's change the color a little bit to green. And then let's go with the grid, let's tone it down a little bit to 4, go back to 2, and then we'll draw those. See over here, so 1, 2, 3. And then we'll go like this with our cursor, get it out of the way there. What are we doing? Go down, down. And then let's go like that. Boy, that sound sounds really weird. The sound is really cool. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you, now that I've thought about it, is to show you how I got this is it right here as far as the scrolling, because in GLFW, the callback function for the scroll callback is only affected, the Y offset is the only thing that's affected when you use the middle scroll wheel, because it's a vertical, I guess. So temp in front distance, I just add the Y offset, and it just works from there. So anyways, that's the state of the project. I am streaming live on Twitch pretty much every day as I work on the project, and I'm also doing Coding Game Clash of Codes. If you come into the chat, and because people from Coding Game will be able to see me too at the top of the screen, because if you have Coding Game in the title of your Twitch stream, it shows up. And so I'm going to get a lot of traffic from the coding game people, which makes it fun because they just took out chat for Clash of Code and for the whole coding game website. So I can have people come into my chat, we can talk, and it's just like before, only it's even better because now I don't have any of the random people from the internet. We just have nice people that I've met, and we all help each other, and and I'm sure they laugh at me, and I look at their code and I admire it because some of them whip out the code so fast. It's amazing, and they're just programmers have an incredible what do you call it? Intelligence. So anyways, thanks for watching, and look forward to more. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Follow me on the Twitch down there. Follow me on Twitter, and pretty soon, with the music and the video and the audio getting going, and then the saving and loading coming up, we're getting ready to list on Steam, which takes a month to vet. So I'm going to be able to list it on Steam, and then it's going to take a month for them to vet it. So stay tuned for that too, but that's going to be coming up. I'll have a video specifically for that.